All right, so we're going to review for your upcoming test. I'm going to go through the review on exponent rules as well as long and synthetic division. So with the exponent rules, our first step, it's 5 times 7 is 35. X squared times x to the fourth, similar bases, we add the exponent, so it's x to the sixth. And y cubed times y is y to the fourth, we add the exponents. If there's no exponents, assumed to be 1. So it's 3 plus 1, there's where the y to the fourth comes from. So it's 35 x to the sixth, y to the fourth. The second one, we're going to reduce the coefficients because it's division. 4 fourteenths is 2 sevenths, and now we subtract. 7 minus 9 is negative 2, so the square goes on the denominator. 9 minus a negative 3 is 12, so the 12 goes in the numerator. We never leave negatives in our final answer. So my answer is 2y to the 12th over 7x squared. Here we're going to reduce first. Negative 3 minus 1 is negative 4. Once again, the x has a 1 to it when there's no exponent. So negative 3 minus 1 is a negative 4, so the x to the fourth stays on the bottom. 5 minus 3 is 2, so the y squared stays on top. So we're squaring 5y squared over 9x to the fourth. When we distribute that square to all four terms, we get 25y to the fourth over 81x to the eighth. And that's because the 2 gets distributed to all four terms here. Here, with a negative exponent, we've got to convert it to a positive. Okay, so I'm going to reduce the fraction first. 4 over 14 is 2 sevenths. 5 minus 2, x cubed. Y to the 0 is 1, so the y to the fifth stays on the bottom, and 3 minus a negative 1 is 4, z to the fourth. Okay. So when I reduce, it's 2x cubed z to the fourth over 7y to the fifth. It's in parentheses raised to the negative 2. When you take that negative and make it a positive, okay, you have to flip the fraction. That's how you get rid of the negative. So it's 7y to the fifth over 2x cubed z to the fourth, and then we square everything. The 7, the y to the fifth, the 2, the x cubed, and the z to the fourth. When I do that, I get 49x to the 10th over 4x to the 6th, z to the 8th. The bottom two, we're just distributing the exponent to all the terms. Remember, it's not 4 times negative 3. The negative 3 gets distributed to the exponent on the 4, which is 1. So 1 times negative 3 is negative 3. So it's 4 to the negative 3. X to the negative 12th, y to the 0, and z to the 9th when I distribute the negative 3 to all the exponents. Y to the 0 is just 1, so it kind of goes away. The 2 on the negative go to the denominator. 4 cubed is 64, x to the negative 12th goes to the denominator. So it ends up being z to the 9th over 64, x to the 12th. Once again, we move the 2 negatives to the denominator. Here we distribute the 4 to all four terms. Once again, there's a 1 on that 3 as an exponent, so it's 3 to the fourth, x to the 20th, y to the 8th, and z to the negative 12th. The negative goes to the denominator, everything else stays in the numerator. 3 to the fourth is 81, so 81 x to the 20th, y to the 8th, over z to the 12th. Now as we go to long division, the key here is the first term. What times x will give me x cubed? It's x squared. X squared times x is x cubed. X squared times 2 is 2x squared. The big thing is that the first term gets eliminated. X cubed minus x cubed, it disappears. 4x squared minus 2x squared is 2x squared. Now, what times x gives you 2x squared? 2x. 2x times x is 2x squared. 2x times 2 is 4x. And now we're subtracting. The 2x squareds cancel. Negative 5x minus 4x is a negative 9x. We got to be careful of those negative signs. We drop the next term of negative 8. What times x gives me negative 9x? Negative 9 does. Negative 9 times x is negative 9x. Negative 9 times 2 is negative 18. And negative 8 minus a negative 18 is 10. So it's plus 10 over x plus 2. And I rewrote the answer down here. X squared plus 2x plus 9. Oh, I'm sorry, minus 9 plus 10 over x plus 2. One more long division. This one's a little longer because you have the x to the fourth instead of x cubed. What times x will give you x to the fourth? X cubed. X cubed times x is x to the fourth. X cubed times negative 1 is negative x cubed. Now I subtract. Negative 2x cubed minus a negative x cubed is negative x cubed. What times x gives you negative x cubed? Negative x squared. Negative x squared times x is negative x cubed. Negative x squared times negative 1 is a positive x squared. We subtract and we get 6x squared minus 3x. So what times x will give you 6x squared? 6x. 6x times x is 6x squared. 6x times negative 1 is negative 6x. Negative 3 minus a negative 6x, or negative 3x minus a negative 6x is 3x. What times x will give you 3x? It's 3. 3 times x is 3x. 3 times negative 1 is negative 3. 6 minus a negative 3 is 9. The 3x's here cancel, and that's my remainder. So plus 9 over x minus 1. And then finally, we're going to do them by synthetic division, which I found easier. But you do need to do the long division ones by long division. You will not have this option of doing your long division by synthetic division, but you can use synthetic division to check it if you'd like. Once again, what makes this parenthesis equal to 0? It's 3. I put 3 in my box, and I copy down my coefficients. 1, 3, negative 7, 10. And it's drop the first term and then multiply and add. 1 times 3 is 3. 3 and 3 is 6. 6 times 3 is 18. Negative 7, 18 is 11. 11 times 3 is 33. And 10 is 43. On the second one, negative 1 makes our x plus 1 equal to 0. And I copy down the coefficients. 1, 2, negative 5, 8, negative 6. Drop the first term of 1. Negative 1 times 1 is negative 1. 2 and negative 1 is 1. 1 times negative 1 is negative 1. Negative 5 and negative 1 is negative 6. Negative 6 times negative 1 is 6. 8 and 6 is 14. 14 times negative 1 is negative 14. Negative 6 and negative 14 is negative 20. And then we write our answer over here. Okay. Keep in mind we're working backwards. So like here, remainder constant x squared. Remainder constant x squared, and then x cubed. And our final one, when you are missing a term, you've got to put a 0 in here. There's no x cubed, so it's 0x cubed. So 2 goes in the box because 2 minus 2 is 0. And our coefficients, 1, 0, and then negative 5, 3, and negative 9. Drop the 1. 1 times 2 is 2. 0 and 2 is 2. 2 times 2 is 4. Negative 5 and 4 is negative 1. Negative 1 times 2 is negative 2. 3 and negative 2 is 1. 1 times 2 is 2. And negative 9 and 2 is negative 7. Remainder, constant, x squared, x cubed. And that is your test.